Good morning. Back to 4:44 again. Woke up at 3:22. Went to bed at a little past midnight last night, although I did get a little bit of an early evening nap, so I actually got more sleep yesterday than I sometimes do since I took that little extra nap in the evening. Anyway, the title for today is We Are Inundated with Ideas and Possibilities. As I meditated or contemplated this morning, I realized that I was given, once again, the opportunity to observe what is happening on Earth in 2012. Yes, it has always been true, but more and more people are aware of it now. We have so much information that bombards us on a daily basis. There are so many causes crying for our attention, so many possibilities in which we might choose this path or that. No wonder many may be feeling insecure. What we have thought to be true in many areas, we are learning about the fraud in those areas. Nothing is exempt. Everyone is affected. Everything is challenged. And in the few minutes just before I started this video, after I had written the blurb, I started going through the emails that I had today, and somebody forwarded me John Smallman's blog. He channels Saul twice a week, and I've been putting his messages on the channeled message section of the Metagroup's community calendar. But the title of his message for today caught my attention. All your issues are coming up with an intensity that very few have experienced. And the first paragraph, he said, many are feeling very stressed and enervated. I think that that's not a correct word, but anyway, as the issues that they need to address and release in order for them to awaken demand their attention. Your awakening is guaranteed, and at the moment it will happen. And the moment it will happen is approaching very rapidly. Consequently, the issues that attach you to the illusion have to be dealt with. You know this deep within yourself, and so they are being driven up into your awareness to enable you to acknowledge and release them. For me yesterday, I had the opportunity to look at a lot of issues. And by the way, speaking of causes, let me address that. There's an awful lot of people that send me invitations to become involved in their causes, whether it's cruelty to whales or using animals for experimentation or sustainable communities or stopping corruption or stopping environmental destruction. I mean, I could go on and on and on with list after list. And I agree with almost all of the causes that people send me. I mean, there's very few that people ask me to become involved in that I don't resonate with at some level. But I'm not going to do it. First of all, I'm not going to join the program called Causes on Facebook. So I ignore them all, including birthdays, by the way. But people want to add birthday cards to that's a program on Facebook, and I ignore that one too, and I ignore all the programs. But the overwhelming information that comes across my computer screen every day anymore is absolutely overwhelming. I mean, there's no way one individual could possibly read, watch, listen to all that's available day by day by day. And everything in my personal life is coming up for re-examination. How do I want to respond to this? Am I going to ignore it? Am I going to take action in some way? How am I going to release it and let it go, if that's really what I want to do? And as I said, it's an absolute inundation of ideas and possibilities. As I sat in the meditation room this morning, one thought after another, one title after another for today's talk would come to me, and I'd start to focus on a little bit, and then another one would come, and then another one would come, and then another one would come. And it was one after another, after another, after another. So where do I go? Then I realized that what it was showing me wasn't any of those particular ideas to focus on, but rather that this is what's happening. That we have so many things that are being brought up to our conscious level to look at, to make another choice, to reevaluate where we want to stand on that issue. And it's a challenge that we've never before faced on such a level of consciousness, I don't believe in, certainly not in thousands of years. Thousands of years. And it's no doubt, but at this time, we're moving into a time when change is imminent. We all feel it. I don't care which side of the paradigm shift you're on, whether you're still trying to hang on to the status quo and make that work for you, or whether you're longing in your heart for something new, whichever side you're on, you're feeling this great uncertainty, knowing, I mean, it's impossible not to recognize it, that there's no security in whatever you believed you were secure in before. There's no security in that. Change is here. It's happening. It's calling out to us. A new world is on our threshold. And again, it doesn't matter which side you're looking at it on. Somebody wrote to me in an email yesterday talking about the war drums beating and talking about Iran and saying that Republicans are responsible for war. And I fired back, and so are Democrats. And they fired back, well, at least we can agree that the U.S. is an empire. It doesn't matter that we agree on who's causing it. I mean, from their perspective, it was the Republicans' fault. They're the warmongers. No, the Democrats are warmongers too. When are we going to get it? But anyway, that's where people are. People are hearing the drumbeat of war. They are seeing the violation of our rights in the United States and around the world. Our human rights are being challenged. They are seeing the destruction of our environment. They are seeing the mistreatment of animals. They are seeing the genetically modified foods. They are seeing the poisoning of water. They are seeing the ills of the pharmaceutical industry and its blatant poisoning of that which is supposed to make us better. Everything is being poisoned, in fact. The old is being challenged on every hand. And we are getting it. What are we getting? We're getting the problem. We may not be getting the solution. Some of us are. But many are not getting the solution. They're just becoming more aware of the problem. What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about this? What action are you going to take? And the impact on our consciousness is saying you've got to make a decision. You can't put this off anymore. It's not good enough to go back to bed and to put your head in the sand and to try to turn your back on it as if it's not there. It's here. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And we're all facing this energy. We're all facing it. Every single one of us especially those of us that are trying to pay attention. I mean, it's right there, but it's everywhere. When I went to hear my son play the other night, I was had a couple of different conversations that went on that evening. And by the way, it was funny. I mean, I went there that whole evening, and I was there for what, 2 to 3 hours, probably 3 hours, and I never had anything to drink the whole evening because they were a beer and wine place, and I like screwdrivers, and they didn't have them. So I didn't drink anything that whole night until I went to my car to go home. I had water in my car, and I had a drink of water. But I thought that was interesting, hanging out in a bar for 3 hours and not even having a drink. But I had conversations with people, and people are wanting to listen. They're wanting to hear. And so many know what's going on. So many can talk about the conspiracies and stuff like that. People are aware, folks. I mean, your everyday person in a bar room is aware of what's going on. People that you might not think would be aware are aware. This is something that is not normal. It has not been normal in our past. It's something that we need to look at and pay attention to. And let me tell you, the people that have been running the governments and stuff like that, people that have been running the corporations, they're aware that we're knowing it. We're waking up. This is the awakening. And this is the year we're going to deal with these things. Exactly how they're going to pan out, I don't know. That's part of the insecurity. And who was it that wrote the book, The Wisdom of Insecurity? Was it Alan Watts, maybe? That's what comes to mind. I could be wrong. But anyway, there is a great deal of insecurity as we are flooded with all of this new knowledge, things that we weren't even paying attention to before. And all of a sudden we're inundated with it, not in the mainstream media, in the alternative media, but it doesn't even matter. It's even creeping into the mainstream media. It's slipping through the cracks because everything is coming to the surface. I had some videos last year about the opening of the underworlds. And certainly the underworlds, everything that has been hidden is rising in consciousness. It's rising up into our awareness. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do about this? What changes are you going to make? I'm also inundated with, in the freedom movement and the sovereignty movement and the free man on the land movements. This is all actually one movement. So many people are discovering remedies, and some of the remedies blow my mind. I mean, I went to a Republic meeting yesterday afternoon for almost 3 hours, from 2 to quarter to 5. And my God, some of the remedies that people are taking up, and some of the knowledge that people are putting forth on how to deal with the injustices in our court system, how to deal with the de facto government and some of the things that they're doing, and to bring them to account. I mean, people, not just in the United States, in England and Canada and Australia and New Zealand, and you notice I'm naming countries that are basically English-speaking countries that are built on the British Commonwealth and the British system, but that British system affects the whole world because it's the commercial system. The Uniform Commercial Code is worldwide, and it affects every nation. Every nation. No nation is exempt. Even those that try to be exempt from this are enmeshed in it one way or another, even when they try not to be. Even individually, when we try not to be enmeshed in this matrix, it still has its tentacles that reach out, and it touches us. It affects every single one of us. This is the time when we're going to have to either shit or get off the pot, excuse the expression, but the gig is up. The gig is up. People know what's going on in the world. Even if they don't have all the answers, they know that there's a really serious problem. And we're inundated with it. We're inundated with it on a daily basis. And I had the opportunity this morning to sit there and watch as one idea after another, after another, after another was flooding me. And I'll bet you every single one of you that's listening experiences something very similar to that. You might put it in different words, but it's your experience because it's what's happening in the collective. We are all going through this. All of us. Not some of us. All of us are going through it to some degree or another. And as the year progresses, I am convinced that it will only increase in its intensity. The level that we are being flooded with, the level of information that we are being flooded with, is enormous. Everything is complex. The complexity of it is enormous. But there's a simplicity underlying it all. And we're going to discover that simplicity by going inside in our hearts and remembering that we are infinite and eternal beings, that we are loved by God, that we have always been connected to all of life, that there is no separation, that our religions have lied to us, that our governments have lied to us, that our corporations have lied to us, that everybody has lied to us because we have lied to ourselves. And now we have the opportunity to step into the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is we are one. The truth is unity exists even when we have experimented with disunity. Yes, this is the time that we have waited for, and we are the ones that are dealing with the energies that we have created over many millenniums. And this is the awakening. This is the shift of the ages. This is that which was long prophesied as coming, and it's here now. This is 2012. What are you going to do with it? With all of these energies, with all of these possibilities, with all of these feelings that are arising and these thoughts that are flowing over your consciousness? What are you going to do with them? I leave you with that question. What are you going to do? Namaste.